I'm sure you can see how this sounds similar to like superior race breeding. Like, you know, well, I mean, you're saying like, let's not bring in outsiders, right? Let's just continue to grow a population of
like
this
Japan.
particular.
Japan doesn't bring in outsiders. Are you saying they think that they're a superior race?
If we're getting into that, that's your claim.
Yeah.
You need to verify that. I understand you believe
Verify what? What's my claim?
that Christian ethics are the truth north of
No,
morality.
no, that's your claim.
I just asked you that.
No, I don't believe in evolution.
Literally.
Literally.
How old is the Earth?
Who cares?
I'm asking you a question.
Yeah,
if
I'm
are
asking you to
ashamed
stay on topic.
Are you ashamed to answer the question?
No, are you ashamed to stay on the topic? My name is Andrew Wilson, host of The Crucible, popular entertainment channel on YouTube. And today I'm going to be debating 5 different people on 5 different topics for 5 minutes. My next topic is moral diversity is a weakness, not a strength.
So when you're saying moral diversity is not a strength, are you, I'm assuming, referring to, is this like tied into the nation state as far as like if there's a predominant ideology or ethic system?
It's not a strength for anybody, whether it's a nation or not a nation.
Okay.
So having a divergence in ethics between people or a divergence in morals between people only brings conflict. It doesn't bring any sort of strength whatsoever.
Okay, so I mean, I'll just agree, but like what's, because of the time restraints, like what's like, I guess, the meat of what you're getting at? Like what's...
So it's probably not a good idea for nations or people like this to import people groups that don't share their same values.
Okay, and I mean, would you agree that America specifically is a bit of a, like,
Yeah.
we've brought in a lot of...
Yeah, it's a big weakness that you have people who have different values than the set core values for America, which I would argue would be Christian ethics.
Okay, and so, but I mean, and I don't want to assume, but I feel like I've heard you mention before that America is one of like the leading countries against a lot of European countries. A lot of what we do is right, and so I'm trying to figure out like.
What do you mean? A lot of what we do is right.
Well, I mean that's, it would depend on the situation, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know your position on America, like where you think we stand on the hierarchy against like the European nations.
We're the most powerful nation in the world. That has to do with the fact that we're isolated for resources and we don't have any enemies on our borders, which European nations do. Okay. So the thing is again, even in Europe, this is a big problem. They have the same problem with what they call Asians that they're bringing in, which are Muslims, not having the same shared ethical value as the population which is there. It's a total weakness.
Okay, so let me dial this back then to the main point. Are you saying that we should continue to keep the countries all segmented, just like let all the, you know, Muslims live over here, Christians all live over here, and just sort of like let them duke it out as they will? Or because you mentioned earlier how like...
No, I'm saying that bringing in people groups, right, to communities or to nations which don't have the same shared ethical foundations as those nations is going to lead to conflict. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And as we mentioned earlier, though, like I think you kind of seem to allude that like conflict is a pretty natural progression on these things if it's all arbitrary. And so...
Yeah, but if you want to reduce conflict, then you probably don't want to bring in people who don't share your ethical foundations.
But these people exist, right? So I guess, are you proposing... Well, what's your take on immigration then? Like, what do you think an immigration system should look like?
I think that we should probably stop the immigration system altogether. Unless it's for the purpose of work, and instead promote our birth rate increasing through various forms of government, what you would call propaganda, but what I would call rhetoric.
I know this isn't exactly what you're saying, but I'm sure you can see how this sounds similar to like superior race breeding. Like, you know, well, I mean, you're saying like, let's not bring in outsiders, right? Let's just continue to grow a population of
like
this
Japan. Japan doesn't bring in outsiders. Are you saying they think that they're a superior race?
No, not necessarily,
right.
But well, maybe. I actually have no idea. But
no, they don't. It has nothing to do with racial supremacy.
But is Japan necessarily, and I don't actually know, but like, are they anti-outside groups?
Yes, they don't allow immigration except for the purpose of work, very rarely.
Okay, and how would we say Japan is as a nation, right? I mean, don't they have like the highest suicide rate of any nation?
It's due to honor culture, and by the way, our suicide rate's quite high. And not only that, just to point this out, there's very low crime in Japan, very, very low. Safety standards are very, very high. But the country seems to be doing very, very well.
In a lot of ways, right? But I don't think any one system works in every situation, right?
Yeah.
So Japan, for example, they have a lot of issues with their honor system. What if you bring in outside groups that maybe don't adopt some sort of honor system.
Yeah,
right?
but the problem is if you take away the thing that gives them their cultural cohesion, like let's say the honor system in this case, and you try to replace it with other things, you begin to destroy the culture itself. That breeds animosity between traditionalists and reformers. This is a big problem, and all it does is lead to conflict every time.
I guess where I would disagree is if we're not, you could certainly argue it's eliminating certain cultures, but I think that this is more of like a breeding of cultures, right? I mean, this is how all of human history has evolved, is different groups admittedly having conflicts and then arising at some sort of new culture.
Well, then
right?
by this logic, why don't we all just kill each other until the dominant culture is the prevailing one?
Well, I think part of what we learned as a culture is that violence isn't the best way to move forward.
So then reducing it by not bringing people in who have different ethical standards than you seems like a good idea.
I mean, but like, does it necessarily have to be violent? I can agree that it does happen violently, but if we can conceive
What if the other
ways,
culture is, we will be violent if you don't conform to our system?
well, maybe we don't let those people in.
Yeah,
but
maybe we don't let those
But I
people
don't
in.
think that. Oh, all right. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, no problem.
Howdy.
Hey,
All right, so we don't need to get into like epistemology and everything, but can you just give me a working definition of what you mean by moral diversity?
you mean, yeah, so we're talking about moral values. We would just be talking about the grounding foundation that tells you what you ought to do or ought not to do in the sense of conformity to the society. So that's what I would mean by moral foundations or structured foundations.
So you're saying that having multiple ways of saying this is right or this is wrong is not beneficial.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to lead to conflict.
Sorry, but we agree again. The problem that I'm going to have as an atheist is that I don't believe you have the justification to say that your moral structure is automatically superior, such that we don't have to, bring in, secular aspects.
Sure, I'll just use the same justification you have. Force.
But are you like, okay, then if you're just willing to kill everybody who doesn't agree with you?
No, it's
like,
not kill everybody who doesn't agree with you. It's just to say
force
that
by-
I don't have to
force
let you
meaning
into
what?
my society, and I can use force to keep you out of it.
You personally?
Or what if I was in charge of the society, or as a person who's participating in the society for what I advocate for?
But you're not in charge of society. So what do you?
So what does that have to do with anything? I'm talking.
You just said you wouldn't
I'm a
let if you were, so
participator.
I'm trying to
I'm a
understand.
participator in my society. Yeah.
Right.
I have some
As am I,
limited. I have
despite not
I
being
have
a
some
Christian.
limited amount of political authority. Right. Very limited, but it is there. Right. And so I can advocate.
You're talking about voting.
Well, in this system, it would be voting, or it would be rhetoric to sway people, things like this. But what I would try to sway people against is letting people in who have foundational differences in values.
So then how do we determine, and fair enough, again, I agree, but I don't think that there is such a thing as a one true north of morality. So how do you then get there? I mean,
The same way every culture gets there, same way Japan got there. So you're saying that the Japanese their way of morality is not actually correct, right? Because there is no correct way?
I'm not super familiar with Japanese culture, but they seem to be doing pretty well.
They seem to be doing pretty well. How did they decide that, though?
Again, not super familiar with Japanese
well,
history, but
they decided
I'm
it
imagining people
because
of
as
that
a people
culture wanting
group,
that.
they said our foundations that we have here,
So the question was,
we
though,
like a
how
lot.
do you,
We're going to
how
keep
do you
them.
determine the true north of your moral authority, whether it's God or Christian ethics, whatever? How do you, if we're getting into that, that's your claim.
Yeah.
You need to verify that. I understand you believe
Verify what? What's my claim?
that Christian ethics are the truth north of
No,
morality.
no, that's your claim.
I just asked you that.
What's my claim? My claim is that bringing people in who have a diverse foundation from the people group that you have, which is moral, will create conflict. That's my actual claim.
Right, and I said I agree with that. So moving
There's no
beyond.
moving beyond to
Okay,
now
so
I'm going
then-
to change the claim.
Cool. We can say, I mean, the sky's blue. We can just say things that are true.
So it is true.
Yes.
Okay, so then wouldn't you want to mitigate that?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I guess we agree that
mean-
we shouldn't bring in people who have different moral
So you're
foundations.
specifically talking about immigration.
Sure, immigration. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, then I think
But I feel like you just. I feel like you did a thing
what thing?
that like, oh, I have this base thing that we should have our morality together. We should all believe the same thing. Like, that's what most people believe. No.
No, you just said that you don't believe that.
No, I said it's true that that the diversity of morality is not as beneficial as if there were a true north. If I believed in a true north of morality, I would say yes, we should all follow
Yeah,
that
so
true
if all
north.
so if all
you're
people
saying there is a
believe-
true north.
No,
So-
no. You're making
I asked you
listen,
specifically.
Bro, I'm going to
So,
tell you.
let me ask you again.
I'm going to tell you so that you know when you're talking about this. All that would matter is that the belief was shared, not that it was true.
Okay.
Yeah.
But fair.
Yeah.
Would it be better if the belief were true and shared?
I don't know if it would be better.
Well,
There's all sorts of beliefs that you could believe that may not be better than others, but I can guarantee you if you bring in beliefs that
if
are
you
not
don't-
shared, it's
if-
going to lead to conflict.
If you don't know that your morality is the true north,
That's not what. Wait, nobody said that. What I said was this: just because you believe in a thing doesn't mean it's better than another thing. That's my statement. So that's true.
yes.
Just because you believe in a thing doesn't mean it's better than something
so
else.
what I'm getting to is, suppose there is an ideology that works better for society, gets us closer to God than Christianity. How do you know that doesn't exist?
I'm not making the claim that I know that
Then
exists or
why
doesn't
then
exist.
are you saying Christianity is what we should be following instead of searching for that?
Where did I say that?
Is that not your position?
What's my position? Tell me my position.
The diversity of morality is not good.
Okay, yeah.
Where
Well,
did
so
that-
the word
like-
Christian, where was that? Where was that? Anywhere?
This is the same thing with your last one, man. You're just saying things that are like kind of most people agree with.
Except you.
So is diversity of opinion a bad thing?
Sometimes.
How so?
If the opinion is moving against the foundational beliefs of a people group, I think that they would think that the opinion was a bad thing.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, let's say you have a country of Muslims and you say, I don't think Muhammad's a prophet.
Right.
That's an opinion, right?
Right. No. So
Do
that's,
you think that would create
diversity
conflict?
of opinion is a good thing in that point? Do you think it's bad?
Yeah, I think they would see it as being bad. So let's separate a couple ideas. Whether I would see it personally as bad or not really has nothing to do with the claim of they would, right? And so therefore, if you have a foundational belief structure for a society and you bring people in who in any way are contrary to that belief structure, it's going to necessarily create conflict. So it should be avoided if you want to avoid conflict.
Why do we necessarily need to avoid conflict? Because conflict resolution leads to the best outcome. So why is conflict?
Then why
necessarily
shouldn't
a
we
bad
just
thing?
be in perpetual conflict then?
No, it shouldn't be in perpetual conflict.
I thought it
but-
just led to the best outcome.
So then why shouldn't we just follow the rule of law based on the Bible and not have conflict? Doesn't conflict go with? Do you believe in evolution?
What does it have to do with anything?
I'll get there.
Okay, let's say I do.
Yes or no?
Yes,
You do.
sure. Let's say I do.
Honestly?
No, but let's say I do.
Okay. So things evolve just like people have evolved.
Yeah.
So beliefs and rules of law evolve.
Yeah.
Morality evolves.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Let's say sure.
What
I
do you
think
mean,
it's
What do you mean? Let's say sure.
because
yes or no, dude?
regardless of what I believe, the outcome of this conversation will be the same.
Why are you
Okay,
pretending to
we'll
believe?
try it the other way then.
Yes or no?
Here's my actual position. No, I don't believe in evolution.
Literally.
Literally.
How old is the Earth?
Who cares?
I'm asking you a question. Just,
Yeah,
and if
I'm
are
asking you to
ashamed
stay on topic.
Are you ashamed to answer the question?
No, are you ashamed to stay on the topic?
It's relevant.
Tell me how.
Because if you don't believe that the Earth is 4.5 billion years old,
Yeah.
do you not?
What does that have to do with anything?
Oh my God, dude. All right. So you are just denying the evolution of people, of the Earth, of ideas, and you're just stuck on one belief system.
So
What do you mean so?
what? What does that have to do with my claim?
What's your claim?
My claim is that if you bring people in, if you have a foundational morality for your society, bring people in who don't have the same foundations, it's necessarily going to create conflicts, so it's a bad idea.
Why is conflict bad? Evolution, right? Don't you think that
Because-
conflict?
I'll tell you.
We're debating right now.
Yeah,
Do you not believe that? So you believe in debate,
sure.
yeah? And don't you believe that the best argument should win?
Well, I'm not sure you can win a debate.
So I don't know how you could support a debate format,
Yeah.
and think that. So debate is what you're arguing against. The whole premise of
Yeah.
debate.
So if you weren't here, would I be debating with you?
No.
So if you were somewhere else other than here, I wouldn't be debating. Stop.
Does that have anything to do
If
with
you were somewhere else other than here, I would not be debating with you, right?
Correct.
So then there wouldn't be any conflict?
Correct. And
Okay,
then
great.
Where would that get us?
It would. I mean, I would go about my day. Fine.
Why are you even here at DebateCon?
Well, here, unfortunately, you're a participant in my society.
What does that even
It
mean?
means that necessarily, because we have different foundational belief structures, there's conflict.
No, but you're here at DebateCon, right?
Yeah.
So you believe in debate. You believe in the promotion of superior ideas, right? So
Well, not
so-
necessarily
so-
superior ideas.
no. You believe in the two ideas confronting each other, right?
Okay,
Which
yeah.
is what you're arguing against in this particular topic.
No, I'm not. I'm not arguing about whether or not
You are.
ideas
You're-
can non-violently be resolved through debate.
I'm not promoting violence, of course, but
Yeah, what do you think conflict leads to?
debate?
Violence.
No.
What happens
not
when debate
necessarily.
fails?
What do you mean?
What happens when debate fails?
What's that? What's the point?
The point is that if people come into your nation who have different foundational beliefs than you do, okay, than your nation does, that's necessarily going to lead to conflict, which is necessarily
Why
going to lead to
necessarily?
violent conflict.
No, it doesn't.
It
Not
does
necessarily.
Okay, show me where that doesn't
Right here,
happen.
we can debate and we can disagree, and we don't have to.
The
have
violent
violence.
conflict in the United States based on foundational beliefs is the number one reason it happens. Number one reason, yeah.
We're to back that up. We're based on what?
If you ever
Where's your
heard of the
data?
Civil War?
No.
What? Oh, well, what was that all? What,
What
what was that all about?
What kind of question is that? Come
What
on,
was
dude.
it about?
Huh?
What was the Civil War about?
Don't ask me silly questions.
It was about a distinction in foundational beliefs.
You're asking rhetorical questions.
Time.
All right.
Greetings, Andrew.
Greetings.
Fourth time, but yes. Rephrase the question, or repeat
Tell
it.
you the question again?
Yes.
That having diversity of morality is generally speaking bad, right? Because it creates conflict.
Can it be good in where the conflict is necessary to resolve an issue that was pre-existing?
Like what?
Like, let's just say Christian ethics. Let's say a certain belief.
Well, if you have a conflict in morality, then you didn't share morality to begin with.
Well, but morality has to come from a fundamental foundation,
True.
which is coming from
So
an
if it's
actual
shared,
domain.
and you're disagreeing about it, then it's not shared.
Well, it ought to be displayed through presentation because we're dealing with individuals, a group of individuals in this realm of domain, which
Okay.
is moral diversity, weakness, strength.
Let's say you have a religious nation,
Correct.
okay, and you import, I don't know, 1 million atheists. Do you think that that's going to create problems with moral foundations?
Why wouldn't all the atheists be defeated by that moral standard, and then they'll convert?
Because they don't believe it.
But what if the truth persuades them? At least have to be persuaded to be integrated to in that sort
Then
of
you wouldn't
beliefs.
have a problem with them because there wouldn't be a diverse morality anymore.
Correct. But what if that system of what nation they're going to was false, or that claims to be true?
Yeah.
And then obviously you have conflict because
Yeah.
now one side believes, hey, you're wrong because of this,
So
and
a
the other's
difference
not
in morality creates conflict.
necessary or unnecessary. Does it matter? Would it matter?
I mean, it's just going to create conflict, period.
So how do we avoid that conflict?
Well, you can't mitigate conflict completely.
Oh,
But
what-
what you can do is you can mitigate most of it out. One good way to mitigate out conflict is by the elimination of diversity and morality.
So would you agree or disagree that diminishing is a reality, but the idea to end completely is a fallacy?
I don't think you could end conflict completely.
And did you even study to test that theory?
What?
To actually diminish to end, which is like the finish line, the whole point of beginning of,
It's logically possible.
okay.
It would be logically possible that you could have a kumbaya world where
And-
there was no more conflict. I'm not saying that that's logically impossible. I'm saying I don't believe it's possible in reality.
And would there be evidence to live by that?
Evidence
All the
to
way
demonstrate it?
Yes.
Yeah, or a historical standard.
Historical standards, let's just point to Christianity.
Okay.
Throughout the last 2,000 years,
Yeah.
from denominational schisms, that schisms keep occurring, seems like every 500-ish years, we got problems. And already from the Armenians divorcing from Roman Catholicism, the Great Schism 500-ish years later with Greek Orthodoxy with Roman Catholicism, then you actually have within Roman Catholicism the Protestants, or at least that form, and then obviously we're 500-ish years later, it looks like something else may occur. Either way, that's just a scene of a divorce, rebellion, something's wrong, and it needs to be cross-corrected.
Okay.
Okay? Will it? It depends.
I doubt it.
You doubt it. Now, is that because of moral division?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one division claiming that the rest of divisions are immoral.
Yeah.
So either we're going to continually live with this conflict or we're actually going to find a solution.
Well, the thing is like, if you're saying that it's necessary to have conflict to reconcile whatever this is, maybe that's the case. But if you want to mitigate conflict, if you don't want there to be conflict, then exiting these people from your people group, right? In this case, Christians, right? Like, let's say an Eastern Orthodox country probably wouldn't want to bring in hundreds of thousands of Catholics, right? Because of this problem. Maybe they can have conflict in different ways, right? But bringing those people into their actual society is definitely going to cause conflict.
Correct. Now, is the conflict needed to resolve a problem that was prior that was not known before?
What was the problem prior? If the country's Orthodox, let's say, what's the problem?
Well, the problem would be if there's an underlying corruption that has taken place but was not known. But
Yeah, how's that going to be solved by bringing in people who don't believe in their moral system?
Well, okay, how about this? Jonah going across, commanded by God, obviously disobeyed, but eventually he did went to that land that was corrupt.
Okay.
Now, that land that was corrupt knew it was corrupt and needed help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.